It was the beginning of Hearts and Hooves Day, a time where colts and mares found true love and enjoyed each other's company. Twilight Sparkle, a purple unicorn with blue hair with pink highlights and purple eyes, and on her rump was a magic star with sparkles all around it, and she was watching her friend Rarity, who was another unicorn, but she had a white coat. Her mane and tail were purple, styled to perfection. Her eyes were blue, and her cutie mark was diamonds. Rarity was looking over her mail, and Twilight could see it was all love letters. Rarity was a lucky mare. She was so beautiful, so radiant. She had colts, even mares flocking to want to be with her. In a lot of ways, Twilight was jealous of her friend. Twilight never got a single love letter in her life. And even being a princess wasn't helping either. Most males didn't talk to her because they didn't want to offend her or didn't know how to talk to her now. She wasn't different. She was still Twilight Sparkle. She knew that they respected her, but it was getting annoying how no pony would even try to ask her out. It was early, sure, but the mail had already shown up, so she was out of luck. Rarity was looking through her mail and smiled some. Others, she would read them over and then put them away somewhere she didn't have to look at them. Rarity always got letters about love, but on Hearts and Hooves Day, they piled up.
No. Let's see. No! Ugh! Why does this one smell so bad? That's a definite no! Ugh, this one has poor hoof writing.
Twilight overheard Rarity going through her mail. She couldn't stand it anymore. She needed advice on how to get some cult attention. That was the real reason she was even here. Twilight walked out of the bush she found herself hiding behind and walked over to Rarity.
Hey, Rarity. How are you today?
Twilight asked, trying to build up to her question. Rarity turned and looked at her before smiling.
Twilight! It's good to see you. What are you doing here on Hearts and Hooves Day? Shouldn't you be with that special sun pony by now? I don't have one yet. That's one of the reasons I came here, actually. I need some advice. Advice?
Rarity cocked her head to the side, confused on what she could possibly do for a princess.
It's just that you get all these letters, and I never seem to get one.
Twilight said as she looked at the large stack of love letters before hanging her head. She believed she sounded like a complete failure. Love was a lot harder than she thought.
Oh, darling, don't worry about it.
Rarity could clearly see the worry in Twilight's eyes. She knew they'll look well, and that didn't suit Twilight at all.
You know, most of these letters I have come from ponies I don't even know. Really? That's right. That's why I don't respond to most of them. And there's no secret. Just be yourself. Just be myself.
Twilight repeated the words back to herself out loud.
That's really all there is to it? Indeed. And remember, it's Hearts and Hooves Day. Some pony out there is waiting for you. I suggest you go back home and look around. Some pony might have left you something.
Rarity spoke from experience on this matter of the heart. Twilight was glad to get her advice. When it came from the heart, Rarity knew what she was doing.
Thanks, Rarity. I think I will.
Twilight said and turned away, walking back off to her house. Twilight felt a lot better, although she wondered why Rarity wanted her to go back to her house. Did she know something she didn't? As she walked home, she saw several mares and colts walking together. Was she the only mare in town without a special sun pony? She wondered if her friends had any pony special for today. Applejack was married to her farm, so she figured Applejack was still single. Rainbow Dash believed no pony was good enough for her awesomeness. Even though she was so popular, she could be with any pony. Pinkie Pie! Well, she wasn't sure about her. Maybe she had one, maybe not. She didn't know if Pinkie was at the age to love. Well, mental age at least. Fluttershy was far too shy for love. She was the last pony Twilight expected to have a special sun pony. All her friends just didn't seem like the type for love. Maybe she was thinking too much into it. Of course her friends could find love if they wanted to. They just weren't looking for it. As far as she knew, that is. The pony walked to her house and opened the door. She then noticed her friend Spike, who was a purple and green baby dragon, and he was writing a letter and messing with some gems.
Spike?
Twilight looked at him as she closed the door.
What are you doing?
Oh! Here's a lonely. We're gonna wait for her to birthday. This letter has only confessing to rarity. And we're making a visit.
Spike spoke with his mouth full as he was eating some gems.
Those gems aren't involved, are they?
Twilight asked.
Yeah. Why?
Twilight hoof slapped her forehead, not saying anything. Spike looked at her confused and then saw the gem he was eating and went into a panic.
Oh no! Someone ate my gems! I bet it was Angel.
Twilight shook her head and then remembered why she came back.
Hey, Spike. Did any mail come for me?
Spike put down the chewed on gem and nodded.
Yeah, a letter with heart stamps showed up. But it didn't say from where or from who. It's over there.
Spike pointed to the center table. Twilight walked over to the table and saw a pink letter there. She felt her heart jump a little. Rarity was right. Some pony really did leave her something. She actually had a letter. It made her excited.
Should I open it?
Twilight asked herself. She couldn't help herself and opened it carefully. She took out the letter and opened it, reading it out loud.
My dearest Twilight, I've been holding back my feelings for you for a while. I can't find the words to describe my feelings for you, so I wrote this to say it. When I see you, my heart flutters. My voice leaves me in awe when I see you use magic. My legs feel weak when I'm around you. In truth, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be the pony I am today. If you're interested in meeting me for Hearts and Hooves Day, please come to the park. I'll be the one under the large tree. I hope to see you there.
Twilight finished the letter and felt a lot of feelings coming from the letter. She had been blushing halfway through the letter. She didn't know who sent it, but she was excited. Whoever this cult was, he had a way with words. She knew the tree mentioned in the letter, and she really wanted to meet this romantic cult.
I need to go there to see him. I'm so excited.
Spike looked at Twilight and saw a gleam in her eye that he never saw before. He knew that Twilight was feeling down from not having a special sun pony lately, so it was refreshing to see her excited about it all.
I'll be back later, okay, Spike?
Twilight took the letter and put it into a saddlebag before putting the saddle on her back.
This mare has a date.
Spike watched as Twilight opened the door and left her house. Twilight walked to the park shortly after. She could see a bunch of mares and colts all together, talking, laughing, enjoying their time with their loved ones. She looked around, but didn't know who to look for. However, the large tree didn't have any pony around it from where she was standing.
Where is he?
Twilight asked herself as she walked up to the tree. She moved a little to the side of the tree and saw a figure sitting on a picnic blanket.
Is that him?
Twilight asked quietly. Twilight moved out from the other side of the tree and walked towards the figure.
Excuse me, are you the one who sent me this letter?
Twilight spoke as she took the letter out with her magic. The figure turned to her and smiled.
You came!
The figure revealed to be a golden Pegasus mare. Her mane and tail were long and colored pink. Her eyes were a beautiful cyan, and on her rump were 3 butterflies as her cutie mark.
I'm so glad.
Twilight's eyes widened with shock and surprise. Her excitement turned to confusion, and her magic dropped the letter as she had lost her concentration.
Fluttershy? You sent me that letter?
Twilight couldn't wrap her head around this all. Her heart was feeling confused as well. Was this some sort of sick prank? But Fluttershy wasn't a prankster.
What's going on?
Fluttershy smiled and patted the blanket with her hoof, motioning her to sit with her. Twilight just went with it and sat down next to her.
I did send you the letter. I just didn't know what to say. And I was afraid if you knew who sent it, you wouldn't come.
Fluttershy explained, looking at the sky and the clouds in the sky.
I don't know what to say. I practiced what to say all yesterday and in the morning, but I still can't say it outright.
Is this a joke?
Twilight said straight out. She looked at Fluttershy with all seriousness.
Did you just want to hang out with me? Because that's fine, but that letter was kind of misleading.
It's no joke.
Fluttershy turned and looked at her, almost looking hurt.
I wouldn't joke about my feelings for you.
Fluttershy took her hoof against her own and smiled warmly. Twilight wasn't sure what to think about all this. Fluttershy wasn't one to joke, so Fluttershy was in love with her.
Wow, this is sudden.
I'm sorry. I know I'm just a common Pegasus. I have no chance to be with a princess, especially as smart and beautiful as you.
Fluttershy spoke highly of the mirror next to her.
I just had to tell you my true feelings. I couldn't hold it in any longer.
Twilight noticed Fluttershy was holding back tears. She really did love her, didn't she? She wasn't really into mirrors. At least she never gave it any thought before. But she didn't like how Fluttershy put herself down like that.
Fluttershy, don't say that. You're the most kind and loving mirror I know. Any cult, mirror, or princess would be lucky to have you as their special sun pony. I'm not saying no either. You just surprised me is all.
Really?
Fluttershy felt better from her comforting words, and she had a little hope now.
So, do you like me? As much as I like you?
Twilight put a hoof on Fluttershy's shoulder before speaking.
You know, I've been looking for love from everywhere I can. But I never thought love was right in front of me this whole time. And I'd be a fool not to accept your love.
Fluttershy blushed at this.
Twilight.
Twilight leaned in, getting closer to her. She then pressed her lips against Fluttershy's own. Fluttershy was surprised at this, but her lips instinctively kissed her lips back. Fluttershy's heart leaped as she felt Twilight's lips on her own. It was her dream come true. Twilight couldn't believe she was kissing another mirror. It was her first kiss as well. Twilight didn't even kiss Flash Sentry. She did enjoy Flash's company, but with Fluttershy, her heart was beating faster than normal, and she liked it. The kiss didn't last long, but to them, it lasted for hours, until Twilight pulled back to breathe. Fluttershy blushed deeply and hugged her gently. She had never been so happy in her life. Everything around them seemed to disappear. Twilight stroked her pink mane and enjoyed the feeling of being held by her. Twilight wasn't sure if this would work, but she didn't care. She was going to be with Fluttershy, and that was that. She had made up her mind and actually liked the idea. She felt a bit foolish for not seeing the signs before. She was so focused on finding love that she was blind to the pony in front of her.
Thank you, Fluttershy,
Twilight said, and nuzzled against her cheek. Fluttershy looked at her confused, but enjoyed the nuzzle.
What for?
You were always there for me, offered me your love. Thank you.
Twilight Sparkle leaned against Fluttershy, and Fluttershy wrapped a wing around her and held her against her side as they watched the sky together. Twilight was surprised that Fluttershy was even able to work up the nerve to do all this. Normally, she was too shy for this sort of thing. But now, she saw Fluttershy in a different light. If friendship was magic, love must be even more powerful. Now she knew how her brother's shining armor and Princess Cadence felt for each other, being with Fluttershy.
This is going to make an interesting letter to Princess Celestia.
Fluttershy blushed deeply at the comment. If Celestia found out, her friends would as well. It wasn't like she wanted it a secret. It was just embarrassing. She didn't know if she could handle that.
Oh yeah, it sure will.
Twilight giggled and kissed her cheek. She loved how shy she was sometimes. It was cute.
I love you, Fluttershy.
Fluttershy's shy blush disappeared at those words and she smiled at her.
I love you too, Twilight.
Support me on Patreon. Subscribe and make sure to ring that notification bell to know when I post new content. And please, feel free to join the Lotus Garden. Links in the description. Thanks for listening and look forward to more. Good night, every pony.